Hello there YouTubers, Robert Llewellyn here with another Wet Liberal Weekly. And I'm going to do it about cars. Now, why cars? What have cars got to do with Wet Liberals? Well, there's these two sides of the argument really, isn't there? There's probably 5 sides. Actually, if you're a Wet Liberal, there's about 500 sides to any argument. Anyway, the two big ones that I can think of, on one side there is the Top Gear lobby. Now, Top Gear, I know I've mentioned it before on my YouTube things, it's a program I love to hate. I do love it, and that was delivered in a Jeremy Clarkson type way. This is a program I love to hate. I think they're all brilliant, those guys. I watch it. If I miss it on the telly, I watch it on iPlayer. And I think it's very entertaining and very funny, but all the time I'm watching, I'm going, these guys are a bunch of fucking dinosaurs. They really are. Because every week they do some sort of new argument about, oh, we drove the new Volkswagen Blue Motion 5 million miles on 3 drips of diesel, which is better than a Prius. You know, got this big thing about Priuses, which is the only reason I have it. Really, the only reason I keep that wretched car is because I know it annoys Clarkson. It's our duty as Wet Liberals to drive the bloody things, even though they're not that good. So that's on one side. So that's the car lobby, isn't it? That's people who are into cars. Well, there's this bloke in America who I follow on Twitter called Jason Calacanis. He set up, Silicon Valley tech thing a few years ago, and it was really successful. And one of those things was a thing called Autoblog Green, which is a very interesting blog if you're interested in that sort of subject. And I think he sold it for staggering amounts of money when those sort of things got sold for a lot of money. I mean, he'd be the first to admit that he wouldn't be able to sell it now for more than a packet of dried beans, if that. But, so he's a very wealthy guy, and he is the, I believe, 16th genuine customer for the Tesla Roadster, the electric car that I've harped on about far too much, and I really want one, but they're $110,000. I'm not buying one. And I think that sets such an amazing example for a flashy, wealthy, privileged American, the list goes on and on. I don't think he's at all a Wet Liberal. I think he's probably I think he's a bit of a Republican on the side. But anyway, that's sort of besides the point, because he knows that that's the future and that's interesting and that technology needs supporting. And his argument is he's bought this really expensive, flashy, exclusive electric cars so that the company that makes them has the money to develop cheaper cars. They're actually bringing out this thing called the Tesla S-Class next year or the year after, I think, which is a 4-seater proper car that we could use to go to the shops. It's got a boot and seats. The Tesla is a very small sports car. And I think that's fantastic. And I really admire that. And I think that's a good use of your wealth and your influence and your position of privilege. As opposed to being a curly-haired twat who uses his position of influence and privilege to promote and prolong the never-ending bollocks of the petrochemical industry and these fucking stupid cars that go really, really fast and they're so sexy because they can go around corners sideways. Who gives a flying fuck? Now, Red Dwarf. Yes, I'm going to do a quick bit of Red Dwarf news. On Thursday this week, I'm going to have, this is the worst bit for me, the worst bit of Red Dwarf, I'm going to have my head cast. Now, there was great talk and enormous excitement about having my head measured by a laser measuring machine. But that didn't work and it's too expensive and it doesn't work anyway. So I'm going to have my head cast again, which is having your head covered in gunge and then plaster of Paris for a long time. It's quite challenging. I had a bit of a problem last time we did it, which was 2001. And then they use the head cast, they make a mould of my head, it looks exactly the same as my head, only it's made of plaster of Paris, onto which they build up the mask of Crichton, and then they make the moulds for the Crichton mask out of that. So it's not something I'm looking forward to. So at the moment, Red Dwarf feels like a bit of a big cloud weighing down on me. But we do start shooting Red Dwarf towards the end of January next year. And it's all the dates are in the diary now. We've all cleared all our other commitments. I'm working around it. It's quite a complicated procedure to get us all in the same place at the same time, but we've managed to do it. So Red Dwarf is definitely going ahead. It's going to be broadcast on Channel Dave at Easter next year, and it will be released on DVD globally. So far, I believe something like 29 countries have bought the rights to show these 4 new episodes around the world. So it's going to be on all over the place, because I've had so many messages about when's it going to be on, where's it going to be on, all those sort of things. So I'm sure if you want to see the new episodes of Red Dwarf starring the original cast, with the original crew that we've had, The things we don't know yet are, will there be a Holly character in it? We don't know. We haven't seen any scripts still, but I know I'm having my head cast, and that's as far as I've got so far. Any more news that I'm allowed to divulge to you, I'm going to find out on Thursday what I can say, and I will say what I can. So, that's enough wet liberal updates with a bit of Red Dwarf thrown in. If you have been YouTubers, thank you for watching.